everyone, I'm Colleen with Awaken Catholic, and this is Awaken the Saint. As a natural result of their strong faith, many saints end up being priests or nuns, but not all of them are called to such a life. Today we're talking about Saint Jean-Baptiste de la Salle, who discovered that his true calling was quite different from his original plan. John was born in France in 1651. Being brought up in affluence and nobility, he had a pretty comfortable childhood and an excellent education. He wanted from a young age to become a priest and began preparing for the occupation at just 11 years old. He was ordained when he was 27, and at that point it seemed like he had accomplished his life's goal. However, only a year after entering the priesthood, things began to change for John. He encountered a man named Adrien Niel, who wanted to provide education for poor boys. When Niel opened 2 schools, John helped only in little ways, but over time his involvement gradually increased. Before he knew it, he had become extremely invested in how the schools were being run. He invited 7 professors who taught at the schools to live in his own house so that he could supervise them more effectively in his newly developed teaching methods. John must have been a little too intense, because not long after they took up residence in his home, 5 of the 7 left in a huff, along with 2 of John's own brothers. Some people would have changed their strategy, not John. He was unwilling to compromise in his vision and patiently waited to be joined by people who shared his views. More prospective teachers arrived who were willing to follow John's lead, and they became the backbone of a new organization that would be named, very simply, the Brothers of the Christian Schools. They opened 4 more schools, and John, realizing that his time was completely consumed with his new work, decided to give up his position as a priest. More difficulties and opportunities presented themselves as the organization's reach expanded. The schools began to receive younger applicants who wanted to become teachers, and they were also visited by young men from other parishes who asked to be trained as schoolmasters so they could teach in their home villages. John was receptive to the growing desire for proper education and provided spaces where these new recruits could learn to teach others. In 1687, he founded a training college for teachers, the first of its kind, which would be followed by 2 additional colleges in the coming decades. His work, both as a teacher and as the head of a flourishing educational movement, continued for many years until he finally resigned in 1717 to a humble, quiet life. In 1719, he developed serious asthma and soon died, leaving behind a growing faith-centered educational system that survives to this day. It's no mystery that the Church needs more priests, but it might be more accurate to say that the Church and the world needs more holy men and women across all kinds of professions. There are more times to live out the faith than Sundays, and more places than just the Church. Saint Jean-Baptiste de la Salle, pray for us.
Thank you for tuning in to Awaken the Saint. Awaken the Saint is made in partnership by Spoke Street Media and Awaken Catholic. For more podcasts, visit spokestreet.com.